This week's episodes are brought to you by these fine sponsors: Kathmandu Campground in Sturgis, South Dakota, What's Going On Sioux Falls, Monk's Ale House, Club David on 10th Street in downtown Sioux Falls, the Icon Event Hall, home of the Solstice Shakedown, happening June 22nd. Tickets are on sale now. Featuring the Midwest Dead Coalition, Starts and Ends, Alyssa Kaiser, and Bobby Joe Cool, plus vendors and the Team Pluto Fashion Show featuring Danica Miller, the current Miss Mount Rushmore. Welcome into another exciting episode of The Scene. I'm your host, Bubba Starts, and with me today is singer-songwriter Amanda Grace. Welcome to the show, Amanda.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure. From Winona, Minnesota. I know that you we're talking about you coming out here and playing in South Dakota, but before we get to all of that, why don't you tell all of our listeners a little bit of who is Amanda Grace?
I just love music. I've been, writing and plugging away for a number of years, and I really, it was part of what we did as a family growing up. That was sort of our thing. Wherever we were living at the time, we did a lot for music for community events and fundraisers and churches and sort of just part of life. And so probably started writing when I was 6, 7 years old. I loved the piano, but then I picked up the guitar in college and started putting music out after my nephew was diagnosed with leukemia, and fought a brave battle but he passed away. And so my first album was in memory of him, and my kids were little at the time. And so it was sort of it's a children's CD actually. And since then I've launched different kinds of projects. And so it's just sort of carried on that from that one moment of inspiration, really, when he passed away while I was in the room. So I kind of felt like I needed to pursue it a little bit harder after that.
Well, I'm very sorry to hear about your nephew, and I'm so happy that you were able to turn that tragedy into something beautiful and something that will carry on his memory, and something I'm sure for your kids to show their kids in the future as well. So his memory is not lost or forgotten in any way. So music,
yes, sure.
Yeah. Music has always been part of. You guys had a family band, you said, or?
Just usually, my mom would do kind of she was the original songwriter in the family, and she played by ear. And, I can hack away at chords and stuff, but a lot of my stuff is by ear as well. It's just sort of, I don't know. It's just how it was for me. It always has been.
Mom played piano as well?
Yep. And so, yeah, and I've done a few different little talks about her as well, because she was really the reason why, we into it in the first place. So and she just expected it. So, and so that was part of what you did, and a lot of my siblings can sing. They don't all pursue it, but there's a lot of talent in my family. So it's definitely been fun. We have some wicked karaoke parties.
Right. Well, and that's what people, oh, you're so talented. It's like, well, you have a voice too. You could learn to sing. We can all train our voices. And I think people who learn music at an early age and are trained, to use their voice. And, some of us fall in love with it in school. That's why it's so important to have the school programs, choir from an early age. And because it's just so easy. We all have a voice. We all have an instrument, right? And it's teaching people how to use that. And I don't think that anyone can't sing. Right. I just don't believe that. I just think that some of us have a lot more training and maybe a little bit more inclination to having, some advantages. Right. My friend Clayton Ryan, who's up in Minneapolis now, he's a big man. He's got a big set of lungs, and that allows him some advantages, right, to have a big sound and to fill those up and to use that. But anyone can have a voice, and it's about finding that voice. And it seems like, your nephew kind of gave you your voice as, a songwriter and someone who's going to release music and put that out there. And you just haven't stopped since then. You have a new album that just came out this year. You want to tell us about it?
Sure, yeah. I for the most part, I've really tried hard to sort of stay in the area because I'm raising a family, so I kind of do my shows out and back, and I've I put out these um, different types of music, and then I think th- that I've I've been both encouraged and misunderstood in my process of putting music out there, but I've seen, a lot of the bigger artists are doing that. They don't want to be confined to a genre, and I've been doing that since 2010. And Give Me Away is really a complete. It's a real spin off of all my favorite sounds. So you're gonna hear a little country influence. You're gonna hear folk. You're gonna hear just a simple singer-songwriter stuff. You're gonna hear rock, so you're gonna hear Americana. So and I told, it was the first time I worked with a producer for a long time. I've been wanting to work with him because I've always heard such great things. His name is Matt Patrick, and he's at the Library Studio in Minneapolis. It's the first time for a long time, where I've done a full project with a producer. And it just really came down to, I was so busy that I wanted to be efficient. And that sounds crappy to say that out loud, but I just literally sort of live moment to moment. And so With some situations of medical care in my home and with my family, that I have to be fast. So that was a really cool thing, because I was able to go up and spend 2, 3 days, work on the scratch track, and then he would bring in players that I picked that I wanted to play on it. And they hadn't heard the songs before, and they would just start playing, and then we would listen and listen and then say, yep, that's it, and then we record that. And then after that, I would come back and work maybe 5, 6 hours on the vocals alone. So it was really a cool process, and I've enjoyed it, and I'm pretty proud of it. I'm glad the way it turned out, and I'm hoping that some more people will start listening to it and sharing it and whatnot.
Yeah. So the album's called Give Me Away, out on all
Yep.
streaming platforms, I assume.
Yep. Yep. I can shoot you that link, or actually, it might be even in that. If you hit that email.
Yeah, we'll make sure it's in the show notes and get it out
Yeah.
there. We'll have
Yep.
to feature a song on Love Noise, our other show as well, and make sure we get it out there. That's kind of what we're all about, is taking those local artists and maybe giving you a little bit bigger voice. Our voice isn't huge right now, but we're
Little by
growing.
little.
Yep,
Yep.
and we're spreading, and it's through people like you and your fans that are becoming fans of the show, and it's been a real treat for me. Doing this podcast for the last couple of months now, and already having 30 episodes out there plus. We really made a big splash, and now it's finding out, okay, so the rhythm of it, right?
Yep.
And kind of trying to plan out, when at the same time living by the seat of your pants, right? uh, Trying to plan your life out six months to a year in advance. We've talked with some people on the show who are they're already booked into 2025, and I'm like, that's crazy, man.
Yep.
Like I got my summer done in January, and it was really easy for me to see that summer, but there was so many things because we're growing so much right now. There's a lot of change that happens. Every show is beginning new and bigger opportunities. So I didn't want to put myself in a position where I was completely filling up the calendar in January and not thinking about the opportunities that were going to be happening in June and July. So yeah, now I'm looking at the calendar and going, geez, you're really open in September and October, and maybe you better get to it. But I think patience and, is
Well, and you
definitely a
have to
virtue
live
in
your
it.
life. Yep. Yep.
Well,
You
right.
do really have to live your life too, and take
And
time to be a human. So,
Right. Well, and I have kids too. So, my boys play baseball. My daughter's in softball, right? So they got a ton, and we're so busy with what we're doing locally that I'm missing a lot of games this year. And that kind of bums me out, but we get a lot. We have a couple of really cool, family vacations planned this year, and some really cool things that we're doing. So it was really important to me, with the way the year transpired. I quit. I'm a welder by trade. That's what I've done for the last 5, 6 years. And I quit, a $50,000 a year job to just pursue our music career and
Oh
what
my
we're
gosh.
building here permanently.
Right.
Right. It was a huge jump and a huge risk to take, and kind of knowing that I had, that job that I could go back to, right? It's not just one, it's a whole town full of welding jobs. I'm very fortunate in where I live and the job market being what it is here. But yeah, it's twofold, right? Where, yeah, I'm working more probably now than I would, but I'm able to work from home and I don't have to work all 10 hours in a row every day. I mean, I've
Right.
already put in 4 or 5 hours today, right? And it's 10 o'clock.
Yep.
So
And then you can stop when you need to. That's definitely what I do too. I mean, I do a series of, 2 or 3 things, and you can work it all from home, but you do have to be really on, you have to be really have good boundaries too, because you can either overwork or I tend to overwork, but it takes a lot of self-discipline
I
to,
tend to
you
overplay.
know, well, maybe a good mix here then.
Yeah, I think I'm better now.
I just like working, so I just like,
Yeah, well, and my
so
wife
I
laughs at
like
me.
projects.
My wife laughs because when I quit the factory, she thought, "Oh, you're going to start sleeping in," and because I was waking up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning to go to work, and that hasn't changed at all. I mean, I'm still on that circadian rhythm, and yeah, some days, now performances keep you out late. So if I'm getting home at 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm probably not waking up at 5 again. But by 7 o'clock, I'm rolling out and I'm in the lab, either on podcasts, editing podcasts, posting, scheduling, doing all the things behind the scenes that nobody ever sees. And yeah, but that's what makes it all keep rolling and how we're building what we're building. So Amanda, I really appreciate your time this morning. This was a really fun, quick convo. Get to know you. I'm sure we're going to have you out sometime for some of our South Dakota shows, and I know you're interested in coming out and spreading your wings a little bit. Winona's not that far down the road from Sioux Falls at all.
No,
So
it's not at all. Yeah, we need to figure that figure that out with all of our free time.
yeah, all that free time that we have, right? And that's
Yeah.
the beauty of it. Well, and we're very fortunate to have our partners. Shout out to Monk's Ale House in Sioux Falls, hosting every Thursday, where we can look well down the road, right? We have the forethought
Yep.
where they're not going anywhere, and as long as we continue to deliver on our end of the bargain by bringing amazing talent, which we just have so much of. Yeah, I think it's really growing. I had a show up in Sioux Falls last night and spreading the gospel, I guess you would say, of the scene and just getting out there and trying to build our community. And it's been a really cool last couple of months, and yeah, it just keeps getting better because I get to have conversations like this on a Wednesday morning.
Yeah, it's just a great way to start out the day, that's for sure.
Awesome. Well, Amanda, do you have any shows coming up you want to plug before I let you go?
Sure. If people are in Minneapolis, the next one I've got is on Sunday. So Sunday Fun Day. It would be this coming Sunday, actually, the 2nd. I believe the doors are at 6. The show starts at 7. There'll be a lineup at the green room. All women lineup will be myself. There are full bands. Will be Katie Tessman and her band, my band, and then Samantha Grimes and her band. If you've heard any of these women, they are amazing and original music, and so it's going to be pretty fun.
Yes, and actually Samantha's reached out as well, so she's going to be a guest soon, and we're looking forward to hearing about the show. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time, and yeah, we really look forward to having you in South Dakota soon.
Same. I can't wait. Thank you so much for having me today.
You're so welcome. And for everyone else, this has been The Scene. Thank you for listening. Remember to go to patreon.com/thescenesd. Follow us on all your social media channels and make yourself part of The Scene.